Welcome along to our pre-match coverage of Spurs against Nottingham Forest, and we'll start with scenes from the high road. Remarkable scenes outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as fans have got together to greet the team bus on its way into the stadium this afternoon. With me, Clive Allen. Clive, incredible, and a real rally for those players ahead of the match.
Absolutely, no doubt about the passion, the support for the team. Quite incredible scenes outside, and if they need motivation, nothing more than this should give those players just a feeling that there's so many supporters right behind them.
We got a taste of this, of course, didn't we, on an amplified scale for the Europa League parade last year, but it's been fascinating watching fans come together over the past week on social media, not only with the always together always message that's been out there, but the fact that they managed to rally and pull this off in such emphatic style. And it does seem like there's a real positive energy about the group. We all understand the perilous situation at the moment, Clive, but positivity off the back of two good performances as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we have to take into today's encounter. That purpose, the positivity that the players showed, the belief that certainly they had in the performance against Madrid in particular, winning a game, which was a fantastic result, and carrying that forward.
These are special scenes. So this was the team bus arriving around 30-40 minutes ago. You can see it's making its way around the back of the stadium. Nottingham Forest turned up a little bit earlier and went in a slightly
too early, and they have to wait. They really have to wait.
So this was Spurs players, by the way. They all came together today. It was a unified effort. The players all wanted to be together to see this, and as we saw players like Kevin Danso speaking to our very own Ben Haynes in the week, he said that this kind of thing, Clive, really does make a difference just to get that extra edge out of the players.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt, Rob, they're understanding the magnitude of the situation. I was in the training ground at the beginning of the week, and certainly you felt that throughout the training centre there was a buzz, there's an anticipation. They know what's in front. It's not all over today. I think I have to make that point. It's not finished, it's not definitive today, but it is another big game, and one in which I think there's no doubt the players understand.
OK, let's go pitchside to speak to a couple of our club journalists as well, Marzi and Will Holderness. Gents, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good to see you, boys. Marzi, first of all, what about those scenes on the high road and outside the ground?
Yeah, brilliant. I was out there and having a look. Yeah, the fantastic. Just seeing the coach going through the smoke. It's special. It's special, and yeah, look, the fans have got together to do this. It's important to say that, and everyone knows how big this game is today. As Clive said, I think important but not decisive would be my phrase. But and again, as Clive said, if you're not motivated by seeing those fans out there, then yeah.
Well, I suppose it's about getting that balance right today, isn't it? About knowing this is a big occasion, a big opportunity to peel away from Forest. Spurs would go 4 clear of them with a better goal difference as well. But to know that there is further matches down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Still 7 games to play after this one, so as you say, it's not definitive today, but it's just building on what's been a really positive week. 2 really good performances midweek and Sunday at Liverpool, so yeah, it's just taking that momentum that we're currently on into this game today and really feeding off that togetherness and that unity.
OK, let's check in on the team news, and we'll get to that next, because some big calls today from Igor Tudor after what was an excellent result in the week, the 3-2 victory over Atletico here in the Champions League. And yes, it was elimination, but it was Igor Tudor's first victory as head coach. Mickey van der Ven served a Premier League suspension against Liverpool. He starts. There's another start for Matty Stell, who's in unbelievable form at the moment. Dominic Solanke returns from a small problem to start to lead the line for Spurs. Jet Spence will play at left back, left wing back, whatever way you want to see it, despite the recent return of Destiny Udogie. And Richarlison returns too. He missed the Atletico game due to a Champions League ban. So look, we know that this formation is very fluid at the moment for Spurs. 3-4-3, 4-4-2 at times. I'll run through the 11 first. So Vicario in goal, Danso, Romero and Van der Ven the central defenders, Porro and Spencer fullbacks, Gray and Saab partner in midfield again, Richarlison and Tell up front with Dominic Solanke. That's a strong-looking 11. The big call, really, the midweek goal scorers come out, Clive.
Yeah, and that is a big call, but Richarlison, top goal scorer, coming back in. Solanke leading the line. I think it's an offensive team when it needs to be, but a defensive one when it has to be. And with the 3 central defenders, there's no doubt that Igor Tudor prefers that system. I think Porro and Spence playing in the wing-back roles, they excel there. Love Archie's form at the moment, wherever he plays, but playing alongside Pap Sarr. So I think there's a nice balance to the team.
On the bench today, Kinski, Dragishin, Polinia, Xavi, Udogi, Berival, Gallagher, Souza and column 1 here looks a bit better, doesn't it?
That's a bench. That has strength, that has options, and certainly in a game of this nature, if you need to change it up, there's certainly those options there for the manager.
By the way, the goalkeepers are already out, and they're going through their warm-ups in front of the South Stand away to our right-hand side. The players are about to emerge from the tunnel as well, which is encouraging. Bit of news on Vicario, Milesy, because he's playing through the pain barrier right now for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, looks like Bit's going to be going under the knife next week. Obviously not with Italy, and we've got a gap until April the 11th after today. So he's managed that the right way for us, and you have to take your hat off for him to doing that. But he obviously plays today. I think it's a hernia issue, so I mean, Clive will be in a better position to tell you how that will affect everything. But it certainly doesn't help when you're trying to strike a football, that's for sure. But yeah, so fair play to Vic. He's you know what he's like off the pitch. He's a leader. He's very much a team man. He's one of the leadership group, and he is exactly showing that by example by being out here today and putting himself on the line.
Yeah, we'll wait and see how long he's up for, because Spurs know that there's 3 weeks until the next game. Yeah,
and I think that's the reason that obviously he is available today. Might be slightly restricted just kicking the ball, but I'm sure it's not going to inhibit him in any other way. And then with a small surgery, I'm sure that he won't miss, if any, games coming back after the international break. So the timing's good. And you know how committed Vicario is to the cause.
We actually saw Will as well, didn't we, in the Liverpool game in particular. When Vicario played it long, that was causing Liverpool problems. I mean, it seemed to be a bit of a change in directive of what the goalkeepers were being asked to do. We saw Vicario knocking the ball long up to the front two, which is the same today with Richarlison and Solanke.
Yeah, with those two up top, you've got a really good options there to lump it along to them. Good hold-up players, good in the air. We'll get amongst it. Will be busy, will be hard to play against. So it's a good option to have. And I mean, as the keepers came out of it, got a really good reception from the fans in the stand here. Everyone's behind him. They know he's got form of playing through the pain barrier, as we saw last season at Man City. So yeah, he's committed to this club, and he certainly got a good reception when he came out.
Gents, bounces around between yourselves. What's the kind of standout piece of team news today from you for Igor Tudor's 11?
I'll go first. I think Dom being fit's big for us. You know, the way he played up at Anfield, you know he gives everything anyway, but as we were just alluding to there, if you've got two up top in Richie and Dominic Solanke, you are, you know, you can go long into them, but you are providing the opposition with a handful there. You know how Richie likes to get amongst it. He likes to fire it all up. He likes to be there, doesn't he? Dom's very much a classical centre forward, isn't he? Graceful, control, lovely first touch. Between them, they've got the whole package, haven't they? I mean, you put it this way, if you're a centre-back, you want to play against them, would you?
No, not a nice pair to play against. It can hurt you in many different ways. Both very good in the box as well. And actually, like this fixture, historically, both have a pretty good record against Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, it's good to have them back. Richie missed the game in midweek through suspension. So, yeah, great to have them both back.
It could be interesting, actually, because Forest back two, they're not shy of going up for a scrap either, are they? So, put them four together, it could be fireworks.
Well, that's a perfect cue, Marcy. You're supposed to go into the Nottingham Forest team as we see some of their players emerging from the tunnel. That a number of in fact, I think all of their starters are already essentially out there right now warming up. So Nottingham Forest starting the match week 17th in the Premier League, and we would have seen as well Leeds United drawing last night with Brentford. So just one change for Forest from their last Premier League 11, although we can see the Spurs players out here. Well, a huge cheer for the players. You can hear that as Paul Coit announced them stepping out on the pitch, and I'm sure they've got a real idea of just how much this game means to the supporters. Let's quickly check in on that Forest team news. Then they arrived a little bit before Spurs, in fact. We saw Vitor Pereira and his players emerge earlier on in the day. So they do make changes here. Just one change from the last Premier League 11 as Amari Hutchinson comes in. So it's Sells in goal, Aina Milenkovic, Marilo Williams the back four, Sangari and Anderson in midfield, Hutchinson, Gibbs White and Callum Hudson-Odoi behind Igor Jesus, because Chris Wood is not quite ready for first team action after an injury, but there's players there, Clive, that can hurt Spurs.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting selection because obviously they changed it. Well, I think it's 10 changes from the team that played in Europe in midweek. So the emphasis is certainly on this game. The focus is on this game, bringing back that side that got a draw in their last Premier League game. Yes, I think they've got certainly pace on the flanks. I think there's going to be really important battles. Porro and Spence, with Hudson-Odoi on one side and Hutchinson on the other. Jesus leads the line well, but I think with three central defenders, we can certainly cope with that. It is as and when you need to go and engage with Gibbs White that is going to be it's going to be telling today, I feel.
4-2-3-1, the usual formation for Forest. They have a goalkeeper Ortega on the bench, Murata, Awani, and Doi, Dominguez, Yates, McAtee, Nets, and Backward amongst their subs. Marzi and Will, who are the key players, do you think, if you could pick one out from a Forest point of view, who are the players to watch out for today? I think
Gibbs White. Gibbs White's a big player for them, but I'd go with Elliot Anderson. I think he's a fantastic player in that middle. Like we saw we could do at City a couple of weeks ago when he just pinged one into the bottom corner. It's an important area, that, because I've been so impressed with Archie and Pap in there. So that's really an area we need to get a grip of today.
Yeah, I think that's a key battleground, that midfield area. Those two, star quality for Nottingham Forest. They've got them out of some tough situations this season. And with the form of Gray and Sarr, they've formed a really good partnership in central midfield. I think that's going to be a real key battle.
I believe we actually have our reporter Matt Tarr pitch side as well. We're going to get to him very shortly because he's been amongst the fan zone and soaking up the atmosphere there a little bit. Marzi, let's focus on Spurs then and Igor Tudor. How big was it to get that first win in the week and a brilliant victory too against Atletico?
Yeah, I think there was no doubt that the confidence just gained from a victory, and the way that we performed, I think, was really encouraging off the back of the performance at Liverpool, and going right the way back to what we were talking about earlier with Richarlison and Solanke on that front line. Our equaliser came from a direct ball from Vicario, knocked down by Colomani, and he fed that to Richarlison for the equaliser. And that is an option. If Forest are going to go and press really high early in the game, just play over the press, just release, and we've got two strikers who can link, hold the ball up, and we can progress from there.
Marzi, Will, what did you like about the showing here on Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good performance. Again, one that was needed at home. And for the players, I think, just to get that feeling of winning games again, they've been so long without one. And it's just to get that confidence, get that cohesion. And I think it really clicked. Big performance from Xavi, who's on the bench tonight. But yeah, he performed really well. And I think it gives the whole squad a real lift, again, heading into today.
I think you can look like, depends how you want to look at the whole thing, really, doesn't it? I think I think Wednesday was a progression, really, from I mean, it sounds stupid to say it, but look, we were 4-0 down in 20 minutes in Madrid, and we lost 5-2. There was some sort of stabilising in that game, and we created chances. That's easy to overlook when all the voices from outside the club are just caning us. And then I thought we competed at Liverpool. I thought we stuck with it, and we got what we deserved. Progression again, and then we've just beaten Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Progression again. So I'm hoping that progression obviously continues today, but I just think, the narrative around the club, I just think it's easy to batter us at the moment. But I've actually thought I thought Wednesday was coming, and I think the performances have actually improved, especially the last sort of 2.5 matches, if you like to say.
And what you saw in the atmosphere as well, it was a really good atmosphere. The crowd certainly gave the players energy, and the players responded. You saw Xavi Simons, he was geeing up the crowd on occasions, Pedro Porro doing the same, and it was a really good atmosphere. I think there was certainly that togetherness. The crowd could really see the players fighting. I mean, the running stats have been through the roof in recent weeks, so players are working hard for the badge at the moment.
And this is the next step in that progression. I mean, if we can go out here and win today, today, as we've already stated, it's not decisive, but it is the first step on this last lap, really. And I think if we can go out there and perform and win today, then we'll be in a pretty good nick then.
I think a lot of people came away from that game midweek, Clive, feeling the same. That Spurs play it with that kind of intensity and at that level, and there was chance creation in there too, that they'll get themselves out of this situation, that they've got enough in the remaining 8 games to claim the points required.
Yeah, and it is the way you go about the game, I think, and that came from the progression, the performance against Liverpool was one in which you will gain confidence, belief about the way you're going about trying to achieve and create those chances created, opportunities, and when you have that, you have that feeling that you can win games, and certainly that you're not going to get beat. And over the last couple of games, I've certainly felt that. The crowd were massive, I felt, on Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
They really, they were right behind the team, and as a player, you can certainly feel that. Sometimes it's a bit of a din, but you get that energy from a positive crowd, and I thought they were brilliant on Wednesday night.
Well, speaking of the fans, we can bring in our very own Matt Tarr, who's pitchside now. Hello, Matt.
How are we doing, Rob? You good?
Good. So you're full of the positive energy because you've been down presenting in the fan zone. Start, though, can you, with the coach parade and what we've seen pre-match here, the greeting of the coach for the game. What was it like? I think we can roll in some of the pictures from that as well. But just give us a sense of the atmosphere down on the high road and up to the stadium.
Absolutely. Listen, we couldn't have Milesy and Will going down there. They're beautifully dressed in their suits today. We can't have them getting dirty on the high road. I had to get out there, get in the mix with our amazing fans. And let me tell you, as soon as we got out there, from hours before the bus arrived, it was absolutely energy on 100. It was sensational. So there was a little moment before the bus turns up where an actual red double-decker bus turned up round the corner and everybody booed a little bit, which I thought was very good. And then the team bus came round, and it was honestly super, super emotional. There was people just taking stock of the situation that we're in, and actually how much this fan base has come together to support the boys and really back this team to do the business today.
There's a feeling of togetherness has been the phrase, and you saw it. I felt it out there. You must have, you were right in the middle of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Togetherness is what it's all about, and I spoke to so many fans from all over the world out there on the high road. Some who had only come over for this game. This is the first experience they've had at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they're thrown straight into this cauldron of energy and belief that we can get the job done. It was absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, absolutely loved it being out there.
And credit, Matt, as well to the fans. And look, we've all been all over social media this week. The groups that have worked together to root out the whole thing, they've worked with the club a little bit, of course, but the fans that have really pulled this together themselves for the first team.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I've been a fan of this club for over 30 years. I love this place forever. We'll be Spurs forever, and to see all of these fan bases come together, the amount of people I've spoken to, whether it's on social media, whether it's out on the high road, whether it's here in the stadium, everybody is on the same page, and everybody just wants the same thing, and that's success for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So it's amazing to see the positive energy. I like to try and bring that generally in my life anyway.
No, you do that, Matt. Don't worry.
I do my best. And so to see everybody bringing that and all pulling in the same direction is, honestly, it's beautiful for me.
One of the big things I've noticed is just the families. It's a real family feel as well. It's generations of Spurs fans that are all here together today.
Yeah, it is. You make a good point, Will. I was out there talking to a guy, Little Wilson. He wasn't named after Rod Bear. He did confirm to me. But Little Wilson, he's flown over from Ireland. It was Palacios, actually. He's flown over from Ireland. It was his first game. He was excited because he was just going to get a shirt from the club shop. And then obviously his parents, when they booked this at Christmas, had no idea that all this would be happening today. So he was in dreamland, like, wow, is this what it's like every game? Flares going off and everybody going crazy. And I was just like, listen, football does these things to you. This is emotions. He's only 6-7 years old, but he's witnessing this for the first time, and he was genuinely moved by being there.
You imagine the sense of unity that he's got from that as a young lad.
100%.
And that'll bring you back. That was always a thing that, like, being amongst the crowds, it was always a thing that you thought, wow, look, there's 30,000, 40,000 people in there, and I'm there. And then you go back to school and say, I was in there.
That's exactly it.
It's what he'll be doing on Monday.
Yeah, you've got parents there with their kids, you've got siblings, you've got grandparents, people who have gone through generations of supporting this football club, and to see them all come together for the same cause to back this team is beautiful.
Matt, could you give us a sense then, can you tell us what you've been doing behind the South Stand? Because there's also been a special fan zone today with some of the club legends.
Absolutely, yeah. So the bus was one part of it, and as soon as that bus passed through, everybody dashed down to the south podium because there is some Spurs royalty down there today. Not only was Paul Coit down there, our great host here at the stadium, but he brought some legends with him. We had the likes of Gary Mabbott down there, we had Mickey Hazard, Graham Roberts, David Howes, all sorts of Spurs legends just willing this team on. And not only that, but the voice of Spurs himself, James Black, who's currently on stage right now. I've literally just left him, singing all of our Spurs songs, getting the crowd going. There's genuinely thousands of people waiting and just cheering on. You'll see it on social media. The sea of people on that south podium is a real spectacle.
Yeah, get on social media, see all the clips the fans have been posting as well. Matt, thank you very much for joining us. Look, you're the most positive Spurs fan I've ever met in my whole life. So can we get a prediction today for what is a massive game?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we saw the result against Liverpool turn that tide, the draw there. And then we came here in Europe midweek. Great performance, great energy. We saw the players getting the crowd up, the crowd getting the players up. I think we could really do a job here, and I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs.
Beautiful. Like it very much, Matt. You go deliver that pre-match team talk for the players, as I'm sure has been planned. Thank you very much. Clive, let's get back to the team selection today, Clive. And I suppose we can kind of start from front to back as the players start going through their rondos. We've covered Vicario. Let's get on to that defence. Kevin Danso, big Kevin Danso, brilliant speaker in the week about the fans' open letter to the players and what it means to them. But a crucial part of this team right now. We've kind of rotated out for Radu Dragusin in the week.
Yeah, and I look at it as the characters and personality of players, especially in an occasion like this and a game of this magnitude. It's going to be vitally important. And you know, with Kevin Danso, totally committed. He understands. You can sense that. I think the group really understands the position we're in, the way we've played in the last few games, and they're showing that personality that we're not going to go under. We're going to get the performance that we need to produce the results that we're striving for, and I think that's very important. That's the feeling that's running, I think, through the club at the moment, which is so important at this stage of the season.
He does, Milesy. Kevin Danso, who's been at the club over a year now, but he does feel like one of the leaders. He might not be part of the leadership group in inverted commas, but certainly feels like one from the outside anyway.
I'll tell you what, he walked through the door and he commands respect. He's a big man, and you know the way he plays. When he plays his football, is wholehearted. But it's when you speak to him, that's when you really take to him. He's a people person. He told us pretty early, Will, didn't he, about what he wants to do in the community. I want to get out in the community. It's a very important part of what he does, and it's great to see that side of a player, because really, I mean, a lot of people just see it on face value on the pitch. But I'll tell you what, though, if you wanted someone to depend on, if you wanted someone to put your life on going to, say, Man City and needing a draw and being in that box in the last minute when it's 2-2, he's your man, I tell you. He'll throw himself in front of everything, and not only that, he'll throw in the long throw that wins the game for you right there.
Exactly.
You know what he'd do? He'd throw himself in front of that big red bus. He would. He's that sort of character.
He's a Clive. You've played for so long. He's the sort of, when you say he's the sort of player you need in your team, you know exactly what I mean by that, don't you?
Yeah, he's a character. He's a Michael Dawson. He's a player that that's giving absolutely everything for the cause. And I think that also rubs off on the other players. He's one that they look at and they think, my goodness, he's giving it absolutely everything. I need in a way, I need to up my game now. I need to produce what he's produced, give what he's giving. And I think that three is very, very solid. It's going to be a battle. I think, as I said earlier, Gibbs White's going to be the problem. Which one goes in, engages with him? Jesus will be the higher of the strikers for Forest, and it's how the three defenders there just deal with that Jesus and Gibbs White problem.
We've got the midfielders and strikers going through their shooting drills, so we'll try and show you some of this next. They're in front of the south stand, and Richarlison, by the way, has been absolutely banging them in on his return to the team. We can see Archie Gray's part of this setup as well. You can see him and Paps are setting the players for shooting, and that midfield pairing right now, Clive, feels like the midfield pairing for Spurs for this moment.
Yeah, that midfield pairing's worked really well. I think Archie's been in quite outstanding form. His level of performance, his consistency has been special. We know the strength of Papsar, his energy, the boundless running that he's done, whether it's defending in one box and getting to the other end, supporting on counter-attacks. So I think there's athleticism with those two, but also there's a lot of ability, and I think that's really important.
He has just ballooned one left-footed into the south stand, but I promise you Archie Gray has been unbelievable.
But you know what? But it doesn't count out there, Rob.
It doesn't. Look, Will, what have you made of Archie Gray of late? He only turned 20, I think, last week.
Yeah, birthday was last week, wasn't it? I mean, he's so mature for his age, and he's just going from strength to strength. He's actually having a solid run in the team at central midfield, which I think is his most natural position. But he can play anywhere, as we've seen. His versatility is such a key aspect in this team, and I think we're talking about characters. 20 years old, he's got it in abundance, just like Kevin Danso. He's a player that you can rely on. He'll give his all every single week, and in his interview last week they did for the matchday programme, he said, like, even if you're not having a good game, I'll run my socks off and I'll fight. And that is exactly the type of players you need at this moment in time.
Marzi, what have you made of young Archie Gray?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And again, another player, as soon as you stepped through the door and you started talking to him, and you know about his heritage, and Clive will know all about the Gray family, and he lives and breathes football. And you know the age of him is, I mean, can you imagine him in 3 or 4 years' time? He's got the chance to, I mean, he's England under 21 now. I mean, he's got to have a chance of knocking on that international door. And if he continues the way he's progressing at the moment, box to box, he's got great feet, awareness, bravery. Bravery on the ball. Always wants the ball. Always. Remember, he made that mistake earlier in the season. 10 minutes later, he's picking up the same pass.
Well, that was at Forest, wasn't it, Marzi? And it's Forest today, and I can't remember a mistake since from it.
No, but 10 minutes later, he's picking up the ball in the same position. That's bravery. Bravery in football terms, and I've been delighted with his progression, because he's such a good guy, he's such a great kid who just loves football. You know what I mean? If he wasn't playing for us and he was a Spurs fan, I'll tell you what, he'd have been out there on the high road, and he'd be in the south stand today. He loves his football, and I just love to see it, because I think he could be a diamond.
Marzi, I think you're absolutely right. It's an old head on young shoulders who's had a great football education, a football upbringing. He understands the game, he's passionate about it, but also with that passion there's great determination. He wants to show you how he can play. He wants to be part of a winning team. He wants to progress his career as he goes forward. And I think, you know, he's shown a magnificent attitude, and I'm really pleased for him, because we now see, you know, the potential that he has going forward. 20 years of age, and we're already seeing it. The crowd love him already. He's going to be a star for many years to come.
You think, Clive, that at that age, the amount of football he's now played at the very highest level, Champions League, Premier League, he's got all that experience under his belt now already.
Absolutely, and that will hold him in great stead. And he as a young player would have been dreaming about that. Yes, his career unfolded at Leeds, where he was outstanding in the Team of the Year at right back before he joined us. Then he plays in a number of positions which has all been part of his development. But you're seeing now a player that rightly deserves to be selected in the position he's playing in because of his performances.
Spurs just going through their set-piece warm-ups now, despite the change in head coach, of course, last month. Andreas Georgian has stayed around the set-piece coach, and these numbers are really notable. Spurs have scored the second most goals from corners in the Premier League, 14. Scored the second most headers in the Premier League, that's 11, and conceded the second fewest. I mean, it was actually a surprise, Marzi, in the week to see Atletico score from one, because Spurs have only conceded 4 goals from corners in the Premier League all season.
Yeah, we've been touch tight, and I mean, how does that header go in, by the way, during the week? I mean, fair play to them, but yeah, I think that's 1 out of 100 were going at that angle. But yeah, we've been great. I mean, we've seen it all season. We're a threat from them. But you've also, there's no point in scoring 20 set-piece goals if you're going to concede 25. I think we've been fairly touch tight. And again, it's all about your commitment. Win that first contact, I think, is massive. But then the second ball, massive. And if you can get on the end of them, you're not going to concede many. And we've got players in there who are, they're going to win their battles. People like Kevin, we were talking about earlier. I can't remember the game recently, but he headed might have been Anfield. Just headed everything away. So, yeah. Players in there who are willing to put the body on the line to go and win these first contacts. That's it for me. Set piece.
For the changes in attack, and we saw Tell taking the free kicks and set pieces there, actually, Will. do you think it's understandable he keeps his place in that attack given the way he's playing at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I think he's fully deserving of that. He's made that sort of left-sided role his own in attack. Played well in the week. Got that lovely cross to Randall Kolo Muani. Great dig from the right-hand side into him, and it was, yeah, I think certainly he's a player that front-footed, fearless in possession. He likes to take on players. He can go both ways. And, OK, he's still young. He's 20 years old himself. The final product can maybe get better at times, but still, he's certainly got a good finish on him when he gets space. And I think, yeah, fully deserving of that left-sided role in attack.
Fearless is the word there for me. Fearless. Yeah, he'll just keep going and keep going. He'll prop up on the right, on the left. Take the try, back heel, try and take someone on. If it goes wrong, he's there again, he's there again. Players you need in this situation.
The players have just made their way down the tunnel, so they'll have their last rally before kick-off here. We're, 14 minutes away from kick-off at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're with you for another few minutes before we're leaving you for the game. But, Clive, let's get into those changes in attack then. The thinking behind taking Xavi and Kolo Muani out and bringing Richarlison and Solanke, the front two from Liverpool, back in today.
Yeah, I think because of the performance at Liverpool, the way they went about it, having the option, obviously, from the bench with Xavi Kolo Muani, I think that, you know, he was effective when he came on. He wasn't affected by sitting on the bench, Kolo Muani. He came on and impacted the game. You need those options as a manager. If you have to tweak it, if you have to change it, he now has that sort of bench where he can look round and he can go, yeah, I need that person to go on. Solanke, I think, his link play, his hold-up play is going to be important. The hustle-bustle of Richarlison upsets everybody. They're a rugged defence. That's the way I would describe Forest. They might need some upsetting, and I think Richarlison can certainly provide that.
And it leaves the club, Marzi and Will, and let's get both of your thoughts on this, on an extraordinarily strong bench. I'll just remind people, Kinsey, Dragusin, Palhinha, Xavi, Udogie, Berival, both those returned in the week. Ashley Gallagher, Souza, and then Randall Kolo Muani.
You've got a bit of everything on there. You've got the experience of someone like Zhao. Say we're 2-0 up, let's touch wood, 2-0 up, ahead in the game 15 minutes ago. You just bring someone like Zhao on, don't you? That experience just to do the right things to close it out. If you need legs in there, if Archie or Papa struggling, you've got Connor on there, just bring him in, take over. It's just, yeah, there's options, and the front players as well. Xavi was so good in the week, that would have lifted it up. Yeah, that's what I like about the bench. It's not just numbers, it's options. And that's what we need. You need to have options to cover off everything that could happen in this game. Anything could happen in this game. There's so much on it, isn't there?
Yeah, it was something that Igor Tudor referenced in his press conference, how pleased he was to have 5 or 6 players back, senior pros on the bench that you can call upon, especially in games like this. So it's going to be tight. You could be looking for your bench to come on and make an impact and change the game. And I think he's certainly got great options there. And definitely going to need that depth today.
Will, Marzi, thank you so much for your company and our pre-match coverage. Enjoy the game, boys. Clive, last word from you. Look, this is where Ben Haynes, not with us today, normally goes, what's your prediction? But I don't want to do that to you. So what do you want to see from Igor Tudor's Tottenham Hotspur today?
I just want to see a continuation of the passion and the performance that has been shown certainly over the last couple of games. I think the way that we move the ball with quality, the quality that we have, expressing the quality that we have with the players that are in the starting 11 and players coming from the bench. And when we achieve that, we will get results, I've got no doubt.
Thank you so much for joining us on the warm-up. 10 minutes to kick off from what is a massive game in the Premier League. Spurs against Nottingham Forest, and no matter the outcome, I think it's clear the supporters, the players, the team right now have come together. All together, always has been the message this week. We'll see you on the other side of Spurs against Nottingham Forest.